Joining me now, former Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush, Andrew Card, who, of course, was responsible for informing the president on 9/11 that America was under terror attack. Thanks for joining us, Andy. It's great to see you again.
Thank you.
Terrible memories back in those days. Well, of course, the 9/11 Commission dug into this, and there was a delay because there was, more than a month of delay in finding out who was president. And now we're seeing, again, it's only a few days, less than a week, but still, we're seeing this president denying that President-elect Biden has won and affording him no cooperation at all, not the presidential daily brief, not messages from foreign leaders that are piling up at the State Department. How concerning is this?
It's concerning not just because of what the 9/11 Commission found and suggested that we should change. And by the way, President Bush did institute a significant change in the transition process. So the transition to Barack Obama was a very different kind of transition. It's one where not only did they have access to information, they had people with clearances earlier in the process. So that's a good thing. But right now, we have a pandemic as well as a significant challenge of understanding what's happening around the world, as many bad actors might want to take advantage of this difficult time in our democracy. But I feel it's critically important that President Trump allow Vice President Biden, who I believe is the president-elect, be well prepared to take the baton on day one. Prepared to understand what needs to be done in terms of the pandemic and what needs to be done in terms of making sure America's national security interests are respected and held to account. So that's what I'm calling for. Look, I happen to believe Joe Biden will be the next president. I respect President Trump has the right to review what happens during recounts and question legal activity. But I think it's even more important that we have both of those individuals, President Trump and Vice President Biden, ready to be president on day one, noontime, January 20th, to be president of the United States. And it's critically important. On 9/11, we learned a valuable lesson. Remember, George W. Bush also had another national security challenge soon after he took the oath of office, when a plane in China, an EP-3, was forced to land at Hainan Island. And people wondered if George Bush was up to the task. He proved that he was, but it certainly would have been better if we had had all our teams in place ready to go on day one. And John Podesta was the chief of staff to Bill Clinton. He also served as chief of staff to Barack Obama. I worked closely with him, but we really didn't get cooperation until after the Supreme Court made the decision over those 537 votes in Florida. And that's when the transition really started. And the 9/11 Commission saw that as something that could have been done better. They should have had more preparation for the incoming president than they did. But I happen to feel President Trump should be giving Vice President Biden all of the information he needs to be able to grab that baton on January 20th at noontime, should he be the one who will be taking the baton.
And in fact, you folks arranged the clearances so expeditiously and shared the intelligence that on Inauguration Day, when you were handing off, there was a terror threat. And the incoming and outgoing teams worked together in the Situation Room to thwart that attack. There couldn't be a clearer example of how at 12:01, Joe Biden becomes president of the United States, all things being considered. So far, according to the New York Times count, checking with all 50 states, there is no deciding battleground state in which the margin is less than is being challenged. The margin of victory is greater, I should say, than any of the challenged ballots. And that most of the secretaries of state are saying that there is no fraud that has been found.
I do not see a credible path to success for President Trump. But I am not the expert, and he has plenty of lawyers. And yes, there's going to be recounts. Georgia is doing one automatically because the election is so close down there. I don't believe that there are enough challenges to the process that would significantly change the result that we know today. But President Trump has that right. I'm asking him to also recognize, in case he's not right, that President-elect Biden be given the chance to hit the ground running, especially because of the nature of the world today, which is very unsettling, but also, and even more significantly, the pandemic that is gripping America. And there's a lot of information that Vice President Biden should have to understand what is being done to be able to distribute vaccines if they need to, or get PPA or PPE or ICUs to places that need them. This is a crisis that is real today, and it's likely there could be other crises as we see how the rest of the world reacts to America's challenge during this time.
Andy Card, former Chief of Staff to George W. Bush, a former cabinet secretary in the Reagan years. It's good to see you. Thanks very much.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.